So welcome back to the WGLEU. Hopefully you enjoyed a nice little bit of a respite there after, well, it was a bit of a thrashing in the end for Wombats on Tanks taking down their opponents. But now we come on to what you guys were, actually a lot of people were waiting for, it seems. A lot of the Kazna fans turning up and getting loud as ever, which is what I expect to see. Kazna against Synergy. Now, head-to-head, you'd say it's Kazna's, but they've had an up-and-down performance recently. It's not been the smoothest. What do we make of them coming into this matchup?
Well, of course, Kazna's last match was against Oops, where they lost 5-3. And they tried to come back desperately after a pretty disastrous Ghost Town, where they lost 2-0, thanks to some bad peaks. And, you know, we did see some of that today as well, when Oops played on Ghost Town. So it's just unfortunate. And then they just started to get back into the game. And then Himmelsdorf in that last round, they just got absolutely thrashed. So not a good showing from them. Synergy, on the other hand, also have pretty bad showing. I think the only win this season which really stood out to me is the one against Wombats on Tanks, when they managed to beat them 5-2, I believe.
Yep.
So yeah, they were good then. That was the first game of the season, but they've had a couple of bad ones in between.
Yeah, the consistency not quite been there for Synergy just as of yet. We're hoping they can maybe smooth that out a little, but of course you guys will want to get your votes in. I know you Kazna fans are loud, so let's give them the avenue for that. Hey, Melly, how are you going to let them talk to you at this point? Is there a way they can do it?
There actually is.
No way.
No, even one.
No way or way. You said it.
No way.
Yeah, no way. But you said, is there a way to do it? Then you said, no way. So there's no way, or is there a way?
Shut up, Ollie. Carry on, Melly.
Make your mind.
This guy.
One way is Facebook, of course, facebook.com/WGLEU.
But there's more than one way.
If you want,
Oh my God.
Yes, that's what I said at the very first. But yes, facebook.com/WGLEU is one of them. Is that correct, Ollie?
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
one.
good.
Yeah.
Send us messages, comments, posts on our timelines, or participate in
to the
our
highway?
vote.
Oh my God.
Just use the hashtag WGLEU on Twitter to communicate on Twitter with us. And if you want to tell me how stupid Ollie can be, you can also join Twitch
They
chat.
already know.
And what?
They already know how stupid I can be.
Yeah, that's true.
No need to tell me.
But again, I like reading it, so just carry on, people. Of course. The vote has started before we went into the break, and it was, well, it sat on a pretty solid 100% for a while.
Nice.
But now it's down to 88%, which is still a lot. But people, as said, you can still vote. The vote will be open until the 4th round ends.
All right, guys. Well, you've heard enough from us. I do believe it's almost time to hear from the teams themselves. And I always love hearing from the Kazna Kru guys because I'm a biased caster. So look forward to hearing this interview.
Kazna Kru will be the hardest enemy this season. Last season we lost 2 times with them, and I wish this time we will win.
Synergy is a really experienced team that has been playing in the Pro League probably since the beginning in different lineups. They have a couple of Russian-speaking players who are really experienced. Not only that we have been practicing with them a lot, we also kind of respect their gameplay. We're expecting a pretty close match against them.
Always great hearing from the players. And actually, an answer that's not, we respect our opponents and look forward to the game. Always good to get a little bit more from them there. And as I said, there are some experienced players in the Synergy lineup, some more than others, but they have lacked that consistency, haven't they?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they've just come off 2 losses, one to Penta, one to Ding, 5-1 and 5-0 respectively. So 2 very one-sided ones. And we got to see, like on that last match day, 2 losses from Rurenberg, definitely not good. Dreamlight getting 1 shot by Artillery. Yeah. Obviously, that's to look forward to. But Prokhorovka is the first map. Prokhorovka?
Prokhorovka.
No, Prokhorovka is up first. And looking at those lineups, I mean, we've got Synergy with Artillery. It's a massive gamble on this map considering how big it is. And we haven't really seen it work out for the teams. I mean, if it was me playing with a Hummel or something, I could one-shot all these tanks, but no one's up that level yet.
Well, hopefully...
Hashtag me in Eclipse forever.
Is that like your little budding romance?
It's my brother from another mother from Russia.
Okay, so Ollie's CIS equivalent. Maybe achieved a little more than you.
Yes, one like every tournament is to win, basically.
Yeah, but he would never have got there without you
No,
to be his inspiration.
Pushing him.
Yeah, exactly, from the back.
I'm like the
Mr. Miyagi.
the Rambo to the Arnold Schwarzenegger. Sylvester Stallone to the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Ollie, stop. These analogies.
It's true, though.
Horrific. Anyway, we are into the game. Kazna Kru are going to be on the defense, Synergy on the attack. And what do we see from these lineups so far?
So again, artillery piece could be an interesting one if it actually connects any shells at M40, M43. A massive gamble in these kind of ranges when you're talking about 1,000 by 1,000 meter map. Open, and the enemy team's almost certainly going to have a lot of medium tanks, as you can see. Kazna Kru have gone for the Skoda, which has worked out very well for them. One of the only teams, I believe the only team in the league which has picked them so far, maybe bar one. I think Tornado might have picked it once. So it's worked out. Let's see how it works in this one. Hyber, the Object 432, which is the tier 9 equivalent of the Object 430 we saw in the previous game for Wombat, set up on that left side.
And why would you pick this over any other tank at this point? What's its purpose in play that makes it more maybe preferential to others, if there is any?
It's got more HP, 1,700 compared to the T-54's 1,550, I believe. It's got better armor. It can bounce on the turret. So that's, you know, they're definitely good things to have. It's also lower to the ground, so probably better camo value, I believe. And Hyber's doing a good job. I mean, he's got those binocular telescopes for that 25%. So he's spotting Happy Bubble, he's spotting John. But so far, I mean, this isn't a classic position. No damage done so far, but Kazna just starting to unload those damages as the Leopard makes the first shot into Happy Bubble.
Yeah, and I've got to say, I still love Happy Bubble's nickname. I think it is literally the most favourite thing in the world for me. I think it's adorable. So Hyber doing a fantastic job here, actually spotting out 3 tanks. Now he does get the first hit coming in. I'm not sure if they're going to know that completely. No more shots coming into that position, surprisingly, but then again, the covering fire did come to place, and look at that Batchat being absolutely ruined thus far, down to 307 HP. And Hyber finally looking a little worse for wear, but he's done a great deal of work.
He's done his job 100%. I mean, it's so interesting that this bush, or this position at least, still works. And you can see Synergy got onto it pretty quickly, but it was just good that Kazna Kru knew that this is where Synergy would go, and now Hyber's down to a one-shot. You can see these blind shots. Having a lot of HP makes a big difference, and one more shell will secure him down, but they've obviously done Happy Bubble the shell. They've also taken down a Batchat, which is great news. Emilov does finish him off, so Synergy back in this game, but it received a lot of damage at the same time.
Yeah, and I actually do really appreciate that tank more and more. Looking at Hyber, we saw the issue of having those blind shots coming through, aiming a little too high, and quite a low-profile tank in comparison to many or others, so relatively making sense in that spot there, as we saw catching so many off guard and be able to keep the information flowing towards the rest of the Kazna Kru boys. But the thing is, Synergy very slow on this approach, considering they are the ones on the attack here. What sort of timeline are we looking at before they can really start making a play off the back of this? Great shot from Elian there.
I don't think so. I think they're just being battered back. I really don't see a timeline right now. I think it's for Kazna Kru to just make the shots. I mean, Elian's in the perfect position for an IS-7 hull down with that kind of piece of spaced armor in the middle of the IS-7, which can bounce a lot just to the side of John and Happy Bubble. So I think Synergy needs to make a move, or they're just going to get picked off one by one. You can see TVP of Eurofish is there on the side, misses that first shot against Dreamlike. He won't get a second chance.
No, Dreamlike, he himself moving around the place at this point. Elian again finding another shot. He was a man that we actually called out a fair bit in the previous matchup just because he was having some questionable choices of play. Let's say he was peeking a little bit too much. The artillery does punish him in the end then, but not enough to send him packing completely. No,
for sure. I mean, the artillery piece probably will only hit maybe one more shell in this game, I believe. Normally we see the M40, M43s hit 2 to 3 shells per match, if they do hit. Otherwise they just do nothing, basically. So that's all we see. Apart from, of course, if you get HD, then you hit 5 shells, 6 shells, 7 shells, 9 shells even sometimes on Ghost Town. But I mean, Kazna Kru on the defensive side, they are up by about 1,300 hit points. They can sit back, relax. The one thing going for Synergy, though, is that they know that Kazna is set up on that left side, and if they do just decide to push straight across with those TVPs, those STBs, then they could have a chance, but it depends exactly who gets the spot first. Maybe even just send Mursky first and see if he can spot something out for them. But I guess another option would be just to push down south, try and take down Yizny, try and take down Eurofus in the TVPs, get control of that right side, go for that 2-cap, and then have Happy Bubble and John try and traverse through the middle to try and control Elian in the IS-7.
So a couple of options still available to Synergy, as you just laid out there, that hopefully they can start playing towards. But as you said, they kind of just got pushed back a little bit. They kind of got a little bit thwarted in what they initially planned to do. And there was this kind of northwest to southeast hold. I was drawing that line straight across the map for Kazna, but they have started to retract back slightly towards the north there. Isn't he still relatively mobile at this point? And to be fair to Kazna, they seem relatively unfussed by Synergy. They are very under little stress to do too much, but then again, you did say if they do make that southern play side, it's going to be relatively, or quite hard actually, to retake that 2-cap.
I mean, this game is super slow right now. I feel like Synergy is just not sure what to do. Kazna are just making their way from A to the right side. They're just going all the way up to the top line so they don't get spotted. The Leopard's heading across. The STBs are staying there in that position, not really making any move. And I guess that's what they have to do. They have to send the Leopard first, the next one can go, the next one can go, so they don't get caught from behind. But at the moment, I mean, Kazna has no reason to do anything. I mean, they can hold fast, they can stay still, they don't have to do anything. They're not so far ahead in HP that they can just go in for a final decisive move, despite Mersky being in that artillery and not being in a combat tank. So obviously that's going to reduce the overall total HP pull for Synergy. But finally we do Synergy starting to move forwards, maybe hoping that they get the timing correct, that Kazna Kru is no longer in those forward spotting positions.
And well, he's going to get pretty far here, to be fair. Vetso's the first one, I guess, on the chopping board at this point. And the spots are going to come out. Initial shot goes over towards Vetso as well. He does get the connection towards Mieloff, but so far, Synergy running this clock very low, down to 3 minutes here. Bearing in mind there are still tanks spread across the map, but lovely damage coming in. Vetso and Nexus both getting absolutely shredded here. Great work from Synergy, eventually doing a lot of work, but then again, time is still continually running out against them.
Yeah, the artillery piece just did great work there. Mersky just absolutely punished, and he's still got support there from, I believe, an STB. So right now, I mean, Synergy's going to hope for a couple more shells, couple more connections for Mersky, as Dreamlike is in a good position there on the left side, punishing.
They've got to get this done soon as well. As much as I'm appreciating how much Synergy are doing, Kazna still have more HP overall, as we do have that artillery in play. Now, it is paying off thus far, but it needs to do more. They need to start securing some of these tanks, not allowing any sort of movement off the back. But here we go, actually. Eurofish coming off the side, and he does have a little bit of support. Elian falls to the artillery. And suddenly, Kazna Kru not sitting so pretty. This could start getting a little bit hairy for them.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, they're down quite a lot of HP, and now it looks to me like Synergy can push forward. Dreamlike starting to sync up with the STB1 and John in that T125.
It's going to get dangerous. Here we go. Keep your eyes on that HP and keep your eyes on the time. These two factors will be imperative. But there we go. Dreamlike and Mieloff just doubling up, picking up 2 kills. Vetso did end up falling. Eurofish as well goes down. Kazna, what on earth is going on? They need to back away from this. They need to be careful. They need to watch that timer. And now Nexus is going to be on the chopping board. He's got nothing to do here but die pretty much. No shells being made, and Mieloff just absolutely mauls him at this point. Stefan's the last man standing. The cap's already started. He's going to do some hero level plays here.
Yeah, Stefan is he's got to get the resets basically, because if 2 or 3 tanks go in that cap, there's still going to be enough time for Synergy to be able to win it via that. So this is not good here for Kazna Kru at all, and you can see Synergy are still barreling down onto the back of Stefan, and he is 2 versus 3, and he's been caught out very badly indeed. This should be game over.
Yeah, this is going to be done and dusted. Synergy, great little start after what was a really hairy beginning to this map. Dreamlike just trying to ram it home, I guess, at this point, and now Stefan trying to make a bit of a mad dash, but it's all for nothing. That STB1 needs to land 1 shell as it does. And Synergy, only losing out on 1 tank throughout the entirety of that, managed to pick up round 1. Kazna, what's happening to these guys?
No, I mean, they had the perfect start there. They took down the Batchat, they did good damage to Happy Bubble. They were playing very well. And normally when you see teams push that 1 line, they get absolutely destroyed. But Kazna Kru just weren't in good positions. Like, they were sitting there, and Mursk, because they weren't far forward enough, Mursky and Mieloff, everyone in Synergy could just sit behind slight hills, slight depressions, slight hull down positions that Kazna Kru couldn't reliably hit the shells, couldn't hit the damage, and then they're just going to get crumpled on. Mursky's going to hit his shell, he's going to at least do some damage, and it was just super simple for Synergy. So, I mean, Synergy just pushing forwards at the right time. Kazna perhaps thinking that they could run down the clock a little bit more than they could. I mean, there's like a minute left there, so a fair amount of time, 1/10 of the game. I think if they wanted to win that, they should have had the STVs further forwards, kept those positions they initially had, and then just repelled Synergy if they went across and had some good cross shots there against the T110s as they peaked too much, but they didn't. They were too passive.
Curious for Kazna as well, because normally not a team that gets kind of that sort of display towards them, and this tells a lot of the tale from 2nd to 6th. All of those are Synergy logos there. You've got Dreamlight, Mursky, Pavlo, Mieloff, John, all of these guys doing the work. Sure, Stefan did well, but one player doing the damage doesn't really equate to much, unless it's maybe 5k where you still lose.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing about artillery. You just never know what you're going to get on a certain day, and if it's even going to make any difference. But yeah, no one really did anything for Kazna Kru. Yizny there in the TVPU, who was down south the whole time, did absolutely nada nouts, 0 zilch, and 0 damage, 5 shots. Not good from him. Hyber as well. He is, of course, that kind of lamb to the slaughter in that position, which you're always going to get blind shot out of. And yeah, game over. Kazna Kru 1 round down on the easier side on Prokhorovka by a slight margin. So they have to be able to get back into this game. They were so solid in that first half of the season. Okay, they were playing against some of the lower teams, but Synergy is in 10th place right now, so they technically are a lower team. So Kazna should be able to win. They should be able to pick up the next round and level things off a little bit.
It just makes me worry, because these guys shouldn't drop these rounds. And again, we saw Wombats on tanks go down 2 rounds, but Kazna just don't look as focused as they once were. Bless you, Melly. She's just making so much noise right now. It's great. Melly's been dropping stuff all over the studio.
We actually had to remove what was it called again? Mechanical keyboard from Melly once, because
she does type very loud.
It's like a horse galloping. Yeah, that's true. I do a good horse impression.
That was quite impressive, actually. Well done.
Thank you very much.
People think we bully you now in Twitch chat. They're like, just don't be mean to Ollie. Don't.
It's true. I do get bullied a lot. I need Mitch back. He was my man. He stands up for me.
Yeah, but no one else understands Mitch.
Yeah, he insults me in ways people do not understand.
Yeah, exactly. He uses big words that confuse us, simple folk like myself. Anyway, the lineups are locked in, and we'll be seeing, if I'm not mistaken, it'll be Kazna Kru on the attack this time and Synergy on the defense. And if those lineups are right, we're going to be seeing an artillery bit of piece, a little bit of play coming for Synergy on the defending side.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think for Synergy, this is their chance, right, to get ahead in this game, and they are ahead already. Kazna 75% win ratio, attack defense 75%, and Synergy have got an 87% with pretty similar rounds played. So by far their best map, and they've been good. So Kazna needs to be able to weather storm here if they want to be able to go into the next maps with confidence, not giving Synergy too much of a lead.
All right, let's see if Kazna Kru can stop the synergy building, the momentum growing, and Synergy look like they're going to be going straight over towards that western side. It's becoming more and more prevalent today. Seeing copious amounts of this. I found it quite curious, considering so many of the teams were initially focusing towards that eastern play, but no, not today. As Dreamlike already heading down, Yizny taking a massive amount of damage. That 251 is being absolutely ruined, and now a sitting duck. The fire coming back in was sublime, though. Where did they just come from? There's a 4 stack of tanks behind him.
What the hell was that? Why did Crespix... I mean, we saw Hyber in that position, almost the same position. He didn't shoot, because as soon as you shoot, you negate all bushes within 15 meters of you. So he shot, he got spotted, he got killed, and Yizzy's not even dead. I mean, that's just stupid from Synergy. He didn't even have a double bush in front of him, so he was playing such a game, such a gamble, that Kazna Kru wouldn't be on that left side, which they were, because he had the initial spot from Dreamlike, I think.
I'm just a little bit baffled as to how the hell that happened. And I think Kazna are too. They're like, okay, well, if you're going to give us this for free, sure, why not, I guess. But it's like Elian did get caught a little then by a shell. Yeah, it must be artillery coming in, because I don't think... Was he spotted? I don't think he was.
He was by Dreamlike.
Yeah? Okay.
I mean, the thing is, when you have that middle position from the north, you can get there a lot easier. You can just peek over. And as long as you're peeking when you're not spotted, it's pretty easy to find them. And it might have even been a blind shot, I'm not sure, because he is in those bushes. But to me, it kind of feels like Kazna Kru is playing around an artillery strategy without actually having artillery.
And it's, I don't know. I'm really curious as to Kazna Kru's positioning right now. It's something I didn't expect to see them looking weaker towards this part of the season. They were absolutely unbelievably strong at the start, but as we chill on Yizny, not going to be making too much of that. He did have a chance to hit a shot then, but didn't quite take it in the end, and we will be seeing the response from Kazna at least taking over this eastern side and maybe looking towards a capture pressure synergy to move into their hands.
Yeah, Dreamlike as well. I think he probably overstayed his welcome. Indeed, he does. The TVP of Realfish punished him one, and Vetso's there in behind as well with a bat shot.
Vetso doesn't land the shot. He's going to have a lot more goes at it, though, and that's the main thing. Does get one finally connected. And just chipping away at Dreamlike, reminding him, keeping him humble at this point. Telling him packing. Now, this is the move I was waiting to see coming out by these, in response to these western stacks. Trying to make the most of that eastern side, and the artillery could be a hindrance to this.
Yeah, you can see every time Mursky, though, he's the problem with the M40, M43 is the accuracy, and you have a really big arc, so you don't have to move your turret, your superstructure to shoot. Problem is, every time you move your mouse even slightly, it resets your cursor so much that you have to spend like 10-15 seconds aiming down. So that's definitely a big problem. You'll see a lot of M40 players just simply clicking and rolling the dice to see if it actually will land in the middle of the reticle.
Heavily skilled, this artillery lot.
It is super skilled.
Yeah.
To be fair, it was actually skillful at one point, like when artillery wasn't. I mean, the thing is, artillery doesn't suit the game anymore. Oh, that was actually a HE shell, which didn't actually do any damage, and Mursky's been spotted by Yizny. Fantastic work, but he's still not dead.
How is he still alive? There were two tanks trying to take him down then, and actually look at the response on Vetso getting absolutely just melted away. He's down to 215 HP now. Wow, Alien going down too. This is actually quite devastating for Kazna. They're losing out on players left, right, and center. Now, they're down to 5. Stefan's in a good spot here. Vetso, though, looking so unlikely. Milov, he was so ready to take that, so hungry to peek over. They didn't realize that Nexus was so easy able to hit that shot.
The problem is that Yizny's in the background with that 251, and
How is he still here?
He will just kill people. He will just annihilate people if they let him do that. And Dreamlike has to try and commit himself to the He's going to get caught, of course, but they have to commit Dreamlike. And so Kazna are ahead in this game. They're on the attack, so they need to kill all the tanks or at least cap.
5 minutes left on the board here. Kazna, excuse me, on the attack, and looking at this, Synergy are dwindling in HP. That's the biggest issue. They've still got 3 tanks alive, but what can they achieve with it? Nexus actually going to have to back out of that one as he got reminded he is not a superhuman at this point. Eurofish just kind of chilling out on the tracks. You're not a tank. You do need to be relatively cautious here, as he does get back rolling as Happy Bubble just about had that shell ready.
The thing is, Dreamlike's actually on the reload, so if Kazna Kru pushes across, kills Happy Bubble, and then goes safe, they're actually all good. But as soon as Dreamlike, which he has now, come off reload, that depends on how many heat shells he actually lands and does damage with. So this is a classic Mexican standoff. Kazna Kru 4 versus 3, but the HP very similar indeed. And yeah, I feel like Nexus, Luti Pavlo are very important. But then again, Dreamlike being so far back will be good until Kazna Kru get to the point where they kill one of these 2 tanks and then simply get into cover. Either wait for 10 seconds until they're unspotted or sit behind a piece of scenery, I don't know, like a rock or a mountain, or not a mountain, like a hill. It's not a mountain on Proc Rock, it's a small hill.
So, Eurofish has enough, and he's going to commit. Nexus can peek and get the job done. Actually, Eurofish committing himself completely here. Dreamlike, can Eurofish do anything? No, I think he knows it. Oh, lovely support comes out from Nexus.
Not sure why Eurofish just went for Dreamlike then. Why he didn't.
I don't know. I think he had a little bit of a moment, but in the end, Kazna Kru do pick up the victory there. It took a little bit of a while in the making, but it is now 1-1. So a little more on track than expected, or at least back on track after that first little hiccup in their mind. But still not a clean game for Kazna then. Synergy able to take them pretty far in that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a super close game. Again, Synergy are definitely a really good Prokhorovka team. I mean, it was hard to really pinpoint a point where Kazna won it. I think when Kazna decided to go for that eastern side after taking down Crespix in that bat shot, that was a good thing. But then they dwindled in HP. I felt a lot of really good peaks a lot of good shots onto the peaks of Kazna Kru along that northern side across that railroad.
Yeah.
Just worked out fantastically for them. And then, yeah, I think when Nexus took down that TVP, that was also very important. Yizny did an okay job in the background, but not as good as he could. And I think
I'm surprised he got left alive that long.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, he's obviously very important. He finished off a tank, very important for him. He went for more shots. Maybe the better idea would have been to wait for Dreamlike after that first shell. But he did his job. And you can see Stefan, he's definitely the highest damage dealer for Kazna Kru this season. It's a beast.
Yeah, and he's doing it with consistency so far across 2 maps, or 2 rounds on 1 map. So really nice from him, showing a little bit of class there. Outside of that, quiet one for Hyber. Then again, you know, it is what it is with Hyber. He does have his swings and roundabouts of performances sometimes. But Elian, again, relatively quiet. I'm waiting to see a lot from Elian. We put pressure on his shoulders because he can be one of those, you know, one of the best players in the EU region at times. And I'm hoping we get to see that sort of form from him again coming into this later part of the season. However, do we know the next map coming up?
Ruinberg, I believe.
Okay.
Joy. First time we get to see it today, though.
The sweet joy of Ruinberg.
The 1-1s are real, boys.
But
I'm interested to hear what you guys' opinion on Hyber is, because, I mean, you can draw comparisons between Kazna Kru and Na'Vi in the fact that you have that guy who's basically set up the team, which for Na'Vi was Dulux, and Hyber, who are, they're slight. I mean, Dulux is older than Hyber. They're the older generation of gamers for sure. And, World Tanks is a reaction speed game. You do see Hyber on those lower damage boards. Do you think, Dulux subbing out for the Anatolik was a good thing? And do you think Hyber should sub up for FK Schnitzel, for instance? I mean, it's always interesting to hear your opinions. In my opinion, probably not. I feel like Kazna Kru is not a super serious team. I think they enjoy to play the game at high level. But, I mean, the Kazna Kru still. They've had so many chances to be sponsored by a top team, but they haven't gone for it. So I kind of feel like Hyber's part of that dynamic.
Yeah, I think they are a very unique case in this. The one thing I'd love to see is if coaching came into World of Tanks to a degree. You had that overarching player in the backlines who maybe was on comms to it.
It does. I mean, for Hellraisers, you got YR, and for Na'Vi you got Dulux, and for some of the other Russian teams as well, for sure. Antonio Roxas.
I wouldn't mind seeing Hyber in that role. But then again, that would kind of change the dynamic of what Kazna Kru
I think it could work out. I honestly do. I mean, having another... Let's say having another FKK Schnitzel, having another Elian in the lineup can't hurt.
Big. No, it's
but I
big.
don't know what the calling is like in that team. And maybe Hyber's the one who's always talking, always giving the directions. Whereas I think for Na'Vi, the Anatolik was the team captain of Red Rush Unity, so a really good caller.
That he could come in and
he
take
could
that
come
role.
in as a caller, right? I mean,
Well, these are the things that maybe we can ask questions towards Kazna later on as to how their game leadership goes. Maybe don't ask Hyber, like, do you feel you should be replaced? However,
he's a big boy. I think he can take it.
Yeah, he's got quite the analytical mind in that regard. But anyway, we can come back to that later. Let us know your thoughts, of course, on Twitch, shout on Twitter, hashtag WGLEU, as we are into this one live now, as Kazna Kru are on the attack, Synergy on the defense. And if all goes to trend, Synergy should pick up this round.
Yeah, for sure. First damage going towards Nexus in that 113. Great to see more of this Chinese tier 10 heavy tank coming into fruition. Actually saw some 1-2-1s on the Russian server yesterday. It was really interesting. Yizny gets absolutely obliterated in that AMX-30, the tier 9 French medium tank, as it tries to go hull down. But Kazna Kru have made an egress their way up towards the right side, and Happy Bubble's going to be pressured by that TVP.
Alrighty. Can Kazna find a way in? I'm just waiting for one team to break the back of this map somehow. We see it like once in a blue moon. Now, Happy Bubble is under pressure.
Problem is that 113 doesn't really have a particularly high statue, so it's really hard to hit that shell because the Batchat is so low and the 113 is low as well.
And also, look how low Yizny's gone already. Look at Nexus, they're taking a lot of damage for this. Good shots coming through finally. And Happy Bubble down to a one shot, and he's picked up. Now that's relieved at least the pressure coming in, so they might be able to make a play towards that Eastern Village, but the trade out looks like it's coming in, and Elian's going to have to play out of his mind to stay alive here. The split's coming in through the city, so he's going to have 2 tanks staring him down. Now, if they can create a crossfire to this, that'd be perfect, but Yizny going down is maybe going to hamper their chance of this one. John and Mursky looking to pick up Elian as quickly as
in the north
possible.
as well. That's going to be super interesting. What can that Batchat do as Elian gets pounded?
He knows this one's over. He's just staring down the barrel of the gun, and, well, there it is. John's going to find it. That Batchat, can it find anything now? It's an interesting split coming out from Synergy, but their HP is looking pretty darn good thus far. But the high ground is held by Kazna at this point, but then again, Milov is there, as is Crespix.
You can see the FE215Bs with the APCR rounds are just easily able to penetrate the front of those 113s, whereas the Heat is just struggling to actually hit the penetrating sides of those FE215Bs.
And once again, the attacking team starting to struggle on Ruenberg. It's something we see week in, week out here. That bat chat will finally come into this battle, but by now it may be a little too late, and Eurofish can't quite join the party as Crespix just cleans house, leaving 2 alive for Kazna.
Yeah, 2 versus 6, and Synergy so far ahead in terms of hit points. And I feel, again, you know, those FE215B stacks versus the 113 is just such a big factor in this one. Easy to penetrate, easy to hit, and everything just works out very nicely for Synergy. Game over as Stefan falls Eurofish with that last shell remaining. Probably out of the game for slightly too long, even fluffs his lines on that last one, but it's going to be a round on the board for Synergy, making it 2-1. Perhaps not unsurprisingly, it's Ruenberg on the defense. And to be honest, as we do see, like in 768 on Ruenberg, the beginning at least works out well for the attacking team. Like Happy Bubble going down, that bat chat was good. I think it took Kazna Kru a little bit too long to take him down. But then, you know, Eurofish kind of going out on a limb, which would have worked if those FE215Bs didn't push straight into the middle, negating Eurofish. So he had to go into the, you know, the eastern village. He had to traverse. It took him another 30 seconds. And then as soon as the FE215Bs took care of Elian, which is a standard push, the 113s didn't do enough damage on the cross to those FEs, and the FEs just turned their turrets, just auto-aim towards the front of those 130s, penetrate straight through the front with that 330 millimeters of penetration with the APCR. And then at that point, when you're both side scraping, the FE is always going to come out ahead.
Yep, simple as that. And to be fair, Synergy didn't look all that taxed. It was quite a comfy one for them. But as we said, it's nothing too surprising to see a team on the defensive side of Ruenberg winning. However, Kazna Kru needs to be consistent now and replicate it. A little bit more pressure on them, of course, because the bar's been set. You've got to do this well. You should pick this round up statistically. It's in your favor. So they need to do that at the very least. So hopefully for them, they're not too disheartened. They're not a team that completely crumbles off the back of losses. They can recover well. So hopefully they can do that here. And looking at those post-battle stats, again, Stefan, doing well.
Yeah, Stefan's the second highest damage dealer in the WGLEU, just after Crook. So he's consistently a good player, doesn't really miss. But yeah, we had Conqueror from Mieloff going straight into the middle. Dreamlight doing good in that TVP, and of course Crespix in that Waffentrager E100, who at the end of the game really bursted down the last remaining tanks of Kazna, and that's like a solid wall of damage you always have to overcome on any map when you're playing against that Waffentrager. It's like, okay, so we're going to take 3,300 damage because it's such an easy tank to use in terms of its gun. Do we have that to expend, yes or no? And it depends on what you've done in that previous game, in that previous part of the round. So you have to have done really well. So good round here from Synergy, considering they got absolutely obliterated by Ding on this one when they were on the defense. Obviously, Ding using the artillery from Diplomat, one-shotting Dreamlike. This is a better start.
It really is, and hopefully they can keep building off this. I'd love to see them doing... I doubt they can... I say doubt. I do doubt they can win on an attack here, but I'd like to see them get close. You know, really pressure Kazna to kind of, you know, stay on their toes, not have okay, it's Ruenberg, don't worry. I want them to pressure them and really put Kazna through their paces. We've seen time and time again, these teams not having the easiest of runs today. Everyone's having quite a close matchup here. We saw deciding maps between people we certainly didn't expect, and I do believe the team's almost ready to get back in game once again. You can check out those lineups. Anything standing out to you here?
Well, we got the Skoda, which seems to be... We have a restart coming in from Kazna Kru. Believe their voice comms just dropped out. So
please someone sponsor them at TeamSpeak.
So yeah, we're going to restart in this one. Skoda's coming out, Waffentrager, so the lineups will stay the same. But we're going to be starting, I believe, as I said, the TeamSpeak from Kazna Kru got ripped. So it's going to be, again, I mean, Synergy will be on the attack, and the defense will be from Kazna Kru.
It's probably just FK Schnitzel in like the lobby, just poking everyone and really annoying them.
Yeah, poke bots.
Yeah, man.
Join channel, leave channel bot.
Don't encourage this. Literally, next time I go on TeamSpeak, that's all that's going to happen. I've been playing a nice Euro Truck Simulator recently.
Really? You're just as bad as me. People give me grief for playing like 70 hours of Train Sim. It's a great game.
I had such a good time. We had this little convoy going that's on Jackknife the lorry. They had like, a lot of angry Russians like shouting at him basically. And
how can you be angry?
Because they were late for their delivery. It was very, very stressful. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Good weekend spent doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Literally was my weekend.
You could have just been driving trucks in real life.
Not quite what I fancy doing, you know. I don't play real time like you, Ollie, who sits there for like 12 hours, like going from one
I used to do
stop to another.
that on Flight Simulator X, where
you played
like
real
London
time
to Hong Kong, it's like 15 hours or something.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty insane times. I mean, those kind of games are good. I think there's a train simulator one where
Yeah.
you can play like 2 or 3 hours.
Oh, it is
Bit
almost
much.
Yeah, well, that's pretty decent.
And if you screw it once, like it's game over basically.
It's
like
really
you get to the
frustrating.
station stop a little late, and you're just like, oh, 2 minutes late. God damn it.
But to be fair, do you need to leave the?
No, we're waiting for Synergy.
Oh, they're just
The
chilling.
admin hasn't said leave yet, so
Please fix Reno.
we're waiting.
Wah, wah, wah. But yeah, there you go. You guys know what my guilty pleasure is when it comes to games, at least, and it's hilarious. To be fair, the amount of Steam messages I got just like, are you really playing that? I'm like, please don't judge me. I'll set it to offline next time so you can't see. But yes, that is exactly what I do. So guys, do let us know what you play on the weekend. Apart from Water Tanks, maybe a little bit of My Little Pony. That
My
was it.
Pony?
My Pony. That's just what Melly
As
plays.
Melly does on the weekend.
She just-
My pony. What do you have to say for yourself? You haven't got your mic on. You can't respond. Right.
Oh, don't pick on her now. This is not how this works. You can't just like go ham when Melly's just chilling out, like doing her work. Just like, thanks, Ollie. You just get the look of like, can you not?
At least
What are you
someone
gonna
of
say
us
for
is
yourself?
working, right?
Oh, we can't do anything. I mean, we're waiting for the admins to restart the battle. So.
Yeah, defend yourself. It's okay.
Yeah.
The flame is real. Like Melly's normally so lovely, and now she's just
She's
become
not
like
lovely. I think this is
flame bot.
big.
I'm a very nice
Misunderstanding.
person.
That's why
I
Ollie
am.
gets bullied all the time. He goes home and cries, and
I
then
do.
just like plays Train Simulator until it feels better.
Exactly. Just make myself fall asleep.
There's
You
actually
can't be hungry if you're sleeping. You know.
there's actually a TV show in German television that shows train rides at night.
Don't
Yeah, I
tell
actually watch
Ollie-
it. I watch it.
You
I don't have German TV,
sad
but
git.
I watch the replay on YouTube because YouTube
That's
channel.
not
Even
better. You go out, like some people might like turn it on the TV when they're really tired and like watching in bed, just like, oh, it's time to fall asleep.
It's
You go
really
out of your way to
soothing.
watch it.
Yeah,
What's wrong with
there's
you?
nothing wrong with that.
There's a lot wrong with that.
Watching like I don't know Frankfurt to Düsseldorf, maybe watch a
Is it
little
really
bit
exciting?
of
That
what was
you
it?
get like aerial views.
There were also Cologne internal trails, so that was
Munich,
fun.
Munich to Strasbourg. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
something like
enjoys
that.
the view.
Hamburg to.
Yeah.
Oh, no one cares about Hamburg. It's all good. No, I really like
Hey.
Hamburg.
There's a very
Damn
beautiful.
HSV apart
There
from
is a
them.
very beautiful train track from Cologne to Frankfurt.
What? It's just a straight line at
Wait, is
300
that the one that
kilometers an hour.
takes you the like
Oh,
if you're going to the
Koblenz.
airport
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it
The
takes
river.
you the long way?
But it's
Yes,
so annoying when you
Yeah.
just want to get home.
No,
exactly.
it's like when
it's
you go to
really
an
annoying
airport.
when you jump into the wrong train, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not my fault though.
Whose fault
I was
was it
looking
then?
at. I was caught me at a bad time. I was looking at what the admin said. The train was like two. I mean, sorry, but Deutsche Bahn
and
is
I've
terrible.
been telling you.
Because in the UK you have like the
No,
train's
now
coming at
we're
this time.
just
It's going to
getting
go
our
here.
coffee.
In Germany, you just have the sign which says that the train is coming.
Yeah.
You don't actually know where it's going. You know, it
Well,
has.
it says the number and its destination.
It's confusing.
No,
to be
but it
fair.
doesn't have the station stop. So if you're going
Yeah.
somewhere in between where it's going to end up. So there's a train which goes from Stuttgart
started
to
him.
Hamburg,
Exactly.
which is from the south to the north of Germany. It doesn't stop. What happens if you're getting it off at Bonn? You don't know. You don't know if it's going to stop at Bonn.
Can we just appreciate how triggered you are right now?
I hate this stuff. Like I
You're
hate
like a
Deutsche Bahn.
feminist on Tumblr. This is amazing.
I mean, I love when I go back to London or Bristol. Like this service is calling at
X,
Euston.
Y, and Z.
You
It's
know, I'm
beautiful.
I'm
It's
like,
easy.
Thank
It's
you, woman,
easy.
for telling
It's
me where the
easy.
station is calling at.
Please mind the
Condescending
gap.
woman voice over the PA. It's fantastic. Please
condescending.
mind the gap. I think I've
Between
got
the
a job.
train and the platform.
Yeah, I don't like it when they change the voiceover. Like when I came back to London, they
Yeah, it's
changed
weird,
the
right?
voiceover. I'm just like,
Yeah, it was the old
it was the
guy.
old dude
And now it's a woman.
originally, and now it's like some woman. I'm just like, I'm
Why
not sure
did
if
they
I
change
trust
it?
you.
I think they had to add between the train and the platform instead of please mind the gap.
People these days. It's not like it used to be, guys and girls, but we're about to go into games, so hopefully we can stop talking nonsense about trains and everything else glorious in the world. Alrighty, so
I love
Kazna
trains.
on the defense, Synergy on the attack. And what do we make of this, Ollie?
So yeah, finally back into the game. We had
Great
about
time.
10-minute downtime there. I don't know why. Can't even remember what happened, but Kazna Kru with a pretty solid lineup. T62A, TVP Conquerors. Happy Bubble just bounces 2 shells from Elian and Hyber. That's
How's
pretty
he?
unbelievable how he managed to do that. But
He's got a cute name.
sometimes the Batchat turret is just unbelievably durable for some reason. And Eurofish just received one, I believe, from the IS-7. And we can see Synergy is doing the classic right side push. Yisni going straight down to the 0 line in that T62A. And a lot of people's like, why are you using the T62A? It's got a stronger turret than the Object 140. That's why it's better hold down.
All right,
He just got
so
penetrated, but
damage coming in towards Yizny. Finally a little bit coming back, but it's actually few and far between, if I'm honest. It's giving a little bit of freedom here. Yizny does get himself not safe, I guess.
He's a little bit
but
slow to get to that position, I think.
yeah, he did take his time. The cap's actually started up. 30 seconds on that. Alien's taking a lot of damage too. Where the hell did that come from? Finally, a little bit of damage comes back towards Synergy, but by this point, to be fair, Kazna aren't in the best position.
The problem is that these two Batchats simply cannot sit here. They're just going to get taken down. The Batchat and the T62A, they're just going to get taken down very quickly indeed. So Synergy needs to make a decisive move before Mursky or Lutu Pavlo fall. But Eurofish gets absolutely melted away in that TVP.
What is going on? Kazna, you're on the defending side. I don't know if anyone told you that, but you're not meant to be losing this. And now Lutu Pavlo is going to have the shot first. Gets a little bit of damage, and he actually gets it. That's two tanks down.
3 bounces onto the side of Luti Pavlo. I mean, that's unbelievable. The Batchat just being an absolute nuisance right now for Kazna Kru. It is such a close game. Kazna's still up in HP, but so far, nothing's working out for them.
And Alien again being caught here. Dreamlike having the time of his life. He might go for this one, and he might just get it. He does! Dreamlike gets Alien down, and Kazna are really in dire straits. Synergy, sure, their HP is not ideal, but they've got guns in the game. There's only 4 tanks left for Kazna, but they should be able to claw this back relatively closer than this. I don't know what is going on.
The guns in the game make a big difference, right? And Synergy are doing it perfectly. They're sending their higher HP tanks forwards, keeping their lower HP tanks back in the background. But Vetso finds Happy Bubble, Crespix with an easy pickup, and Stefan just left on his own. And Kazna Kru just not really with much of an answer right now. It's 3 versus 4.
And Hyper's not taken a single point of damage so far. He's been kind of negated out of this game. Stefan's down to nothing. Mursky finds him 2v4. HP better for Kazna because of Hyper right now. Nexus actually very healthy too, but oh my word, this amount of angles going towards Hyper. He can't focus them all down. He needs to land this shot and make it count. He doesn't even get it. This is unbelievable. Kazna might lose this.
Ooh, but Luti Pavlo is getting melted in the background from Nexus. But yeah, I think Kazna Kru are undoubtedly going to go down. I mean, they got so unlucky in this game with the 3 bounces on the Batchats, which made such a big difference. And you can see John, Mursky, all really close to being dead, and also Crespix. But such a decisive move from Synergy right into that Eastern Village, and going from 0% win ratio on Ruinberg to 2 wins against Kazna Kru is really fantastic.
Brilliant stuff from them. Nexus not even getting the shot through properly, and Mursky will punish Synergy, picking up the attacking side on Ruinberg. A couple of not necessarily questionable plays, but unique happenings, let's say, with the Batchats coming through, and a couple of moments there that maybe you wouldn't expect. But it's now sitting at 3-1 to Synergy against Kazna Kru. What is happening?
I mean, they're playing pretty good. I think Kazna Kru are making mistakes. I mean, Synergy really decisive in that right side, just pushing. I mean, I think Vetso was pretty late to get to that 0 line. I'm not sure exactly what problems maybe he got caught up there, but normally Vetso should be able to get there before the Batchat slightly. And then the Batchat and the T62A survived for too long. Vetso didn't bounce anything basically, and then Synergy could just push in, do great damage. Alien got taken down. The Waffentrag Alpha E100 also did a lot of damage. Like, it was all back-to-back damage for Synergy. And once you're in that Eastern Village, if you have even slight advantage, and you're on that 1 line, 0 line, you can just push through, and you can just use your low HP tanks in the background. And there were 4 or 5 low HP tanks for Synergy, but they had 2 high HP ones, so they could just push them in.
And look at this. John, Mursky, Crespix. I'm a little blown away, if I'm honest. It is a rarity you see anyone on the attack pick up a round, let alone the underdogs in a situation. So, currently sitting at 3-1.
Stefan again with highest HP. Like,
Stefan's doing what he can, but how much can one player do? We've seen that already today.
Yeah, I mean, if you're consistently doing the highest damage for your team, and everyone else is not really, being that great, then you have to ask yourself what's going on. Like, why are we losing these games? I mean, Eurofish has had a nightmare. He got melted down, and that's TVP. Probably caught out at some point. Alien in that FE215B in the middle, just being destroyed by the MX50B, even though he could reverse backwards and just wait for a Skoda to come off reload. So, yeah, I mean, pretty poor stuff from Kazna Kru as we move on to Ghost Town, which was, a nightmare in the making for them and when they played against Oops. It's not looking good for Kazna Kru. And it's not like Synergy are playing epic, great, beautiful world tanks.
They're playing well.
They're playing well.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. Melly, the people at home voted quite heavily in favour to Kazna Kru.
Yes.
So far, not going so well for them. Are
Not
people
really,
still
no.
believing? What do you reckon on this? What's the percentage at right now?
I mean, it's still stuck on 89%, so they're still backing up Kazna Kru very heavily. And if we check the voting results closer, I see a lot of 5-0, 5-1 predictions, to be honest, and quite a few 5-3, of course. As
Yeah.
already mentioned, the 5-3 one is always kind of the same safe bet. But you can also see that towards the end, those 5-4 predictions got higher. So
People starting to maybe take a little bit more account as to what's happening.
exactly, it started out with 5-1, 2-5, 5-0, now 5-3, 5-4, etc. So
it is actually quite a close matchup here.
yes,
Coming through. Something that most of us didn't expect. You know, you guys at home didn't. We certainly didn't. I thought this was going to be me going home relatively early. It's already gone 11. I've got to fly somewhere tomorrow. Going to be pretty tired. I've accepted that now because this is a good game.
Sleep on the flight. Easy as you like. Everyone says that.
That
It never works.
works. I
I
literally,
know,
I
I
take
know.
like 1 million sleeping tablets. Not good for you. They're fine.
I think you should go on like a 20-kilometer run or something before the flight. Just run. Like,
What,
go
run
home.
to Dusseldorf.
Go
Just
home.
peg it there
And
from
then
Cologne.
just don't spend €4 whatever it is to get the train. Just run there. 30, 40
Do you know
kilometers.
what's annoying
Such a
though? I have to
smart
go from like
person.
Dusseldorf to Amsterdam and then Taipei. It's like I'm going backwards. I like the idea of going backwards. I want to go forwards.
Yeah, I know. Going back.
It annoys me. It's like it's longer. You're costing me time, people. But at least I'm losing out on sleep for a good game. That I am pleased about, and it's good to see Kazna being put through their paces. I wanted a close matchup, and I've certainly got my wish to some degree, I guess. Whether or not it will make me a very, very, very tired person. But Ollie, your prediction now, since we've seen the synergy of cards playing Kazna look a little bit sleepy, what are you going to sit at?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, Ghost Town is such a 50-50 map for these two teams. Kaz have done terribly on it, 37%, but Synergy, again, 25%. So looking at how we're doing on that kind of percentage, I mean, Synergy have been playing when they've had better when they had the lowest percentage, but you have to see. I mean, I think Kaz in terms of their individual skill, like it's been not great. Synergy being aggressive and they've wanted to win this game. So, I mean, it could be anything. This is definitely not the Kazna Kru we saw at the beginning of the season, that's for sure. But I hope, having been spanked by Oops on on Thursday, I think it was Thursday, that they can actually come back and make this even to give us a better game.
Kazna are going to get flashbacks to the game before when they lost out desperately on this map. Elian got caught out several times. It just didn't come through. Now, Synergy, what have you got in store for us? You've impressed so far, maybe not to the degree where we would expect you to be taking down the likes of Kazna, but you have. But can you close the deal? Can you get to match point? That is the big question. Can they get that beautiful 4-1 scoreline that I can imagine most teams would be dreaming of by this point? But what do we see so far from these moves?
Pretty aggressive Kazna Kru, just pushing forwards. Of course, they're on the attacking side. Stefan receives one from Mielov, so I mean that's a normal position from them, and some shells do go towards him, and Dreamlike does receive one, but not really that much of a big deal considering he's playing that E100. So both teams kind of heading towards that northern position. The interesting thing is that Kazna has got two 50Bs on their own, which means that they will be able to punish one tank, but if multiple tanks push around the corner, they'll have to they'll undoubtedly spread the damage and they won't be able to kill them. So that's definitely a weakness there. And Synergy are clumped together quite nicely in that northern side. So Synergy just crossing off that northern cap as a potential option for Kazna Kru. And Kazna Kru tried it at the beginning, and obviously unsuccessful as they are starting to walk away.
All right, Kazna, ball's in your court now. It's time to bring this game back. You can't let this slip any further, otherwise, one mistake can cost you so much in this. Stefan on the rotate round. As you said, Synergy just holding the line. Like, they don't really need to do too much more at this point. They're just chilling out. Hold Dreamlike, smooth. Just going to give a moment of silence for Dreamlike there. If he does it again.
What did he do?
Just hit the thing behind him. It was
Crane.
fantastic. Yeah. I was just like, is that a crane? Yeah, it was. It was beautiful. The
Not
movement of a
very
genius.
cranial from him.
That's not even real. What is that? Anyway.
It's getting late.
I think we can all tell it's getting late. Like, I was planning to do a spag bowl tonight. I think that's off the cards. It's a bit
Mackie
too late
East
for
is
it.
on the card, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I still need to do the washing up though. That's awful. Oh, all these things need to
At
come
the
together.
moment, Synergy are washing up Kazna Kru because Don't really
Stop
know.
it!
Don't really know what to do.
None of this is okay.
All of a sudden.
Was that meant to be suds?
Yeah.
That wasn't bad. I'm talking like this because really we're not seeing too much. We're seeing the kind of rotation from Kazna pivoting round towards the southwest side. And this is actually a map where you can call it a rotation because it's around a kind of central point rather than, you know, in circular motion.
Yeah.
Rather than when I normally lie and it's just them kind of moving around a bit. It's good. But yeah, Synergy haven't had to do much so far.
Synergy haven't moved at all, basically. And I guess it's... I mean, it depends. I think if Kazna Kru can hold their nerve, it's a good thing. If they don't and they just make massive mistakes like they have been, it's a bad thing. Elian really needs to step up for his team. I think he was the 3rd lowest damage dealer against Oops when he was playing. So he needs to stop playing well. And a bit of damage coming out from both teams. But he isn't getting one there. And I feel like Kazna Kru is trying to contest for this 2 cap, trying to get the positions which will guarantee them the ability to cap without receiving too much damage. But again, they don't have any of those lighter tanks. They're using the Conquerors, so they want to go for those brawls. They want to go for the exchanges, and it's going to be super hard for them to, for instance, do what Mirlov is doing, spreading himself around the map, finding angles, spotting, seeing where Kazna Kru are, and giving his team a lot of information.
Yeah, he really is just providing what he can. And to be fair to Synergy, I like the way they're not over-responding or overreacting. It's easy sometimes to kind of play into the hands a little bit of the opponents, but so far they're just keeping together, playing the angles, giving up a little bit of control of this map, but they're denying the flex that Kazna Kru is bringing out as they look towards the western side. You're seeing the AMX-50Bs actually rotating back around towards the east, or joining towards a more central point here as Yizny getting lit up there. But so far, you know, looking at the time on this map, it does take a while to take these tanks down. The HP is certainly quite hefty here. You know, what sort of time are we looking at where this becomes a little bit dangerous?
Well, I think around the 2-minute mark is probably realistic. You know, if Kazna can get the positions enough and they can just send an FE215B in, it's going to have to call Synergy to send Mirlov around the flank. And if Mirlov goes down, then Kazna Kru's heavier tank setup will definitely come into the equation. Like, it will be really hard for Synergy to win. But those are 2 factors, like getting a tank in the cap without receiving too much damage, and then also taking down Mirlov. And Stefan Eurofish seemed to be on some sort of flanking maneuver, so looks like Kazna Kru are setting up for something. And, you know, it's definitely to Synergy's detriment that they're being so static, because Kazna can just come up, you know, they can get their paper and pencil and just draw a tactic just 100% based on what they spotted, and that's basically everything for Synergy.
You aren't wrong on that factor. I guess, you know, with everything now seen, it does force the hand, and there will be toying with the cap to some degree, probably not going to commit to that thoroughly. Just as yet, certainly no need to even really play to that so far, but they are putting tanks, as you noted earlier, towards that northeastern side. The AMX-50Bs have been on the rotate since the start. Now, they should have had an idea as to what Synergy were doing. They have moved those Synergy. They are trying to make a little bit of a switch up here. A bit of a light switch up, though. Happy Bubble heading slightly further towards the northeast. But then again, you know, they're still holding the same line, still holding the same angles, and they've got to be prepared to maybe make a little bit of a play to try and retake this cap at some point.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that Stefan and Eurofitch are just playing 100% off to the side, so they're actually keeping those tanks of Synergy quite separated and unable to help the rest of their team, but they are definitely exposed. Like, Synergy can just collapse on these 2 and kill them if they want, but will that give Kazna Kru enough of a HP lead and, for instance, enough of the cap for it not to make any difference? And Luty Pavlov-Mursky starting to push forward, and Nexus just peeks his front of his IS-7 instead of side-scraping. I mean, I guess he can't around that corner.
Yeah, Stefan, I think, is holding the cross as well, but from a slightly lower angle, and doesn't get the shot he wanted, but the clock is still ticking in favor to Kazna now. The damage certainly not suiting them perfectly by this point, but the fire finally comes into play. 23 seconds again. Look at Eurofish, look at Stefan, Yizny, all starting to go low here. This is getting dangerous as the cap is being pressured, and it has been reset. Stefan the first to fall. And Synergy holding numbers and HP.
Yeah, they're doing so well right now against Kazna Kru. They've really stepped up to the mark. Mirlov will be able to find Eurofish. That's the 250Bs I was talking about. Nexus just peeking again, not really succeeding particularly well. And now Synergy can just back off. They've done the damage. They got the reset they needed. And you know, they've done a very good job. Now, Kazna, they've put the pressure on, so maybe there's something they can do. But Elian just receiving another one, getting set on fire as well.
Yeah, burning alive right now and taken down. A bit of a blessing, I guess, in disguise. But bear in mind, guys, Synergy yet to lose a player. They may do by the end of this. Finally, Hyber takes down John, but by this point, one player lost against the mere two left standing for Kazna. This is a real upset in the making. 4-1, Synergy gonna get on match point. The Kazna fans will be heartbroken. You hate seeing a team like this losing out, but when they're just not up to par and they're playing into the hands of the opponent, you've got to give it to Synergy at this point, as it is Vetso to fall. And there we have it, Synergy getting themselves towards match point. 4-1, and Kazna, what on earth just happened?
I mean, what on earth is going on? I mean, this is Kazna Kru we're talking about, you know, a team that's won the WGLEU, and they're losing against Synergy, who are in 10th place. They've had a few good games here and there, but you know they've had two very, very decisive losses against Penta as well, a team which Kazna Kru beat already, so haven't beat the season, but have beat plenty of times before, and who don't look that great this season. So right now, I mean, Kazna just don't seem to have the answers. Like, the individual skills not up to par. In that game, I felt like Synergy just played well, pushing forwards, but there was no decisive move. Like, they were losing the exchanges, the 50Bs. They did good damage, but then they're on their own, reloading for 25 seconds. Mieloff there in the RU-251 can clean them up pretty easily at that point in time, considering they would have taken some damage. And yeah, I mean, I felt like they didn't have the right setup there with the two Conquerors. I think that's unnecessary. I think maybe a 4-1-6 to go for that Northern Cap. And they did have Nexus with the IS-7, so they could have gone for that Northern Cap if they wanted to.
And again, I hate to look at this, if I'm honest. It's not a pretty picture. Now only one player from Kazna making it into the top 7 so far. Vetso, they're breaking through in the FV, but excuse me, I just don't know what to say. It's one thing to, you know, lose out a couple of rounds here and there, but to keep going back-to-back losses like this for Kazna, it's just a bad sign. You know,
they're losing twice on Ruinberg. Like, that's
not normal.
That's like seeing a black. It's like walking on a ladder, seeing a black cat, having black ravens. I don't know. Like, that's a clear sign that you're in peril.
Yeah, there is something very, very severely wrong with this Kazna lineup now. Be it an internal issue, be it just the players not training enough, be it the team not training enough, communication problems. You can pick out of a long list of things that can go wrong for a team. But so far, they didn't address it from last time. You know, I thought there was maybe a hiccup before. You know, there was a good opponent there, so you kind of pushed it aside. But these reoccurring issues are a very, very worrying display for them. And, you know, a team that we argued would be top 2 easily. You know, there was no question about that.
Yeah, at the beginning they were first. So.
Exactly. You know, they were, the new kids on the block, suddenly, finally finding that form we wanted them to have for so long. I'm hoping that hasn't slipped here. I'm hoping that they don't have to work so hard to get that back, because it certainly was in place not too long ago. But guys, this could be a real devastating scoreline. Synergy on 4-1. One more round, and they lock this one out. Kazna are done for. I don't know what to say here, but for Synergy, this will mean the world to them, because they definitely need this victory. And the double Conqueror is coming back out to play in a hell of a lot of stacks of those FVs. Any preference to these lineups here?
Not really. I mean, it's pretty similar on both sides. Kazna always have a little bit of a flair to their lineups with the Skodas and the Conquerors and, you know, whatever. It looks to me with that 4-1-6, though, that Synergy wants to go for a Northern Cap. I feel like one of the things I've been missing in these Kazna games is artillery. Like, I think with the M40, M43, that's been consistently good on the defensive side on this map. Eurofish is a decent enough artillery player. He's been pretty rubbish, pretty pants as a main tank, a battle tank player, a combat tank player. So, you know, maybe a good switch up for them. And yeah, it wouldn't hurt. They're 4-1 down. Synergy's on match point.
That sentence was not something I prepared to say at the start of the day, but it is what it is. And Synergy, wow, my voice just went. Nice to see it's finally broken. Synergy on the attack this time. Kazna Kru on the defense, and it looks as though Kazna are just going all in.
Kazna's not even aware that Synergy's coming from this angle. You can see their turrets were heading forwards, but they now have the higher ground, so theoretically they're in the better position. And it looks to me like Kazna Kru has really had enough and just wants to play aggressively, but the initial exchange is going towards Synergy.
Oh, Kazna, don't just get frustrated and throw this. It looks like they are. Nexus is going low, Vetso going low. They focused down Happy Bubble, but this isn't great.
Look at Stefan, though. He's coming into the battle. Crespix has shot all his shells, so now it's time for Kazna Kru to actually come into the battle. Can Stefan land enough shells? They
have to start landing this one now. Keep your eyes on that HP bar of Synergy. Finally starting to do the damage. Stefan, as you said, being a massive factor in this. And finally, Kazna Kru starting to turn up. Only 3 tanks left for Synergy. And they should not be able to achieve anything here. They should not be able to take down the rest of Kazna. The HP is now lower. And finally, Kazna remember how to play tanks. It took a long time in the making. And that was a bit of a Hail Mary play, but seems like they've done the job.
Synergy was just going for that northern cap for the 4-1-6. Kazna Kru knew it. They thought they would be able to catch them out a little bit earlier on. But, I mean, that was just a really bad engagement for Synergy because, like against Ding, they went full in, they got caught out, wrong lineup, wrong setup, and they're always going to lose that. Let's be honest here. With the 4-1-6, we're always going to lose against two Conquerors. And it will be John to go down towards Nexus as AMX50B. And Kazna Kru finally bring around on the board the first one since that attacking side on Prokhorovka, I believe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, they were going to win that 100% though. You have 4-1-6 versus two Conquerors. Like Kazna Kru getting into an exchange like that, they're far ahead in HP. The Conquerors got a similar damage potential in HP as the FET-15B. You just push down and you nail them. And even when Crespix got the initial shells out and Stefan was late to the party, they still managed to win the HP race. So, yeah, I mean, that was a simple brawl there from Kazna.
I still don't feel it's something you can rinse and repeat in, I guess. But a win's a win. So
now we get to move on a new map, you know.
Yeah, so live to fight another day.
Sorry?
Don't know what I just said.
Excuse me?
Not sure.
Not sure that even.
Not sure.
No.
Not sure. We're just going to move on from that. Not even sure what I was trying to combine with that word. Normally, it's like two words combined into one. Don't know what that was. I think it's Ollie affecting me at this point.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I have that effect on people, you know.
What, saying that word?
Infectious.
You're infectious.
Damn. But Crespix did do the most damage there, but it's pretty close. I mean, in one shot, basically separating Stefan in 7th and Crespix in 1st. And everyone else from Kazna Kru in the middle.
Yeah. So let's talk about Mines is the next coming map. Statistically, shout out to Joe, Mines. I miss those voiceovers. I love to bring it back for
We
like
should
one
bring
game.
it back.
Yeah, just for one. Just for
We
a
still
little-
got them
little
somewhere.
cheeky. Yeah, so stats-wise, how is this looking for Kazna? Because they're the ones I want to look at, or
Yeah.
Synergy, to be fair.
Well, Synergy 50% win ratio, 10 rounds played, and Kazna Kru was 62.5% with 8 rounds played. So, I mean, this is Kazna Kru's map, right?
Yep.
They've been consistently good at it. And, yeah, okay, the attack wins 50%, defense wins 75%. So, I think for Synergy, they need to win this defensive side. Like we saw already today from Oops against Utopia, if you get your defensive side good enough that you just slow the other team down, you got that weapon charge, you got the artillery piece, you know, if you all kind of mesh it together and you keep the other team at bay for a long enough time, you can just win pretty simply. So we are launching into the battle. It's going to be Synergy on the attack and actually Kazna Kru on the defense. So we could be going 4-3. We could be seeing this go actually pretty far. I wouldn't put this past Kazna to actually pick up again. Synergy picking up the artillery, though, that's something that I was looking forward to seeing, bearing in mind that was a massive deciding factor in the games prior. Whether it will be this decisive again is yet to be seen. Not played as much of a pivotal role as we saw in that first game, but Mines always provides an incredibly good game, and I'm hoping to see that once again. Yeah, I love Mines. I think it's probably my favorite map. I think Cliff is also interesting to watch, but I feel like Mines is probably one of the best maps Wargame ever made, even though a lot of people, newer World of Tanks players, don't like it. Just because you have such a central point where both teams need to get if they want to have a chance of winning. And it does look like both teams are going to try and get it.
And that's the first time for today as well. Dreamlike, I think, has possibly disconnected here.
Oh, that's crushing for Synergy.
That's horrific.
Oh, your worst player disconnecting. I don't know what to say.
Did you just call him the worst player?
Yeah, sorry. Your best player.
Oh, Freudian slip.
Oh.
But no, yeah, welcome to being absolutely gutted, guys. That's...
Kazna Kru, I mean, they've not done well in these exchanges, let's be honest here either. I mean, this could have easily been Synergy's game right now.
Oh, I don't know if that makes it any better or worse, to be fair.
Probably worse.
Yeah, it's like, well, we
did well at the beginning,
won
apart
this.
from our bat chat disconnecting when you're driving up to the most crucial point in a map.
The timing on that. Oh, the poor guy.
They're still going to lose Kazna Kru. I've got a funny feeling.
You reckon?
Mm.
You reckon it's Kazna throw time?
It's been Kazna throw time since Oops. And look at that. Yizny has got Amaract. He's got his driver down. You've got your commander down for Elian, so his view range not great. Doesn't matter too much on Mines. I think it's 800 by 800. Yeah. But Yizny, I mean, having your Amaract down, I think that brings his reload up to about the 20-second mark.
I don't know what to make of this. Like, the only thing that we could see here is that for me is that Mursky can do some really good sustained damage, and I'm hoping he gets the opportunity to. However, they're not going to be able to get that many spots through at the moment. Not going to find Stefan there. Was it on the RU server that someone hit that ridiculous shot, or was it one of ours?
That was on our server.
It was ours. I was trying to remember which one it was at that point, but still.
I'm not convinced by this position from Elian. Like, he's being exchanged easily by John, because Elian really can't do much. I mean, thing is, if Elian hits, he does more damage than John, 440 versus 390. But John's better hold down tank, and for some reason, Eurofish is peaking when you don't really have much side armor. And again, you know, Kazna Kru's HP was about 2,500 in favor at the beginning. Now it's about 1,000.
It's kind of terrifying. If they lose this,
it would be so. I mean, if they lose this, there's no excuses, you know.
No. All right. So Crespix and Luti Pablo trying to make the most, and they do. Good damage towards Eurofish, taking very little back at this point. Milov going to move up as well. They're trying to really pinch in on Kazna, and look at this. Where is the reciprocated damage? Where is anything going back? Eurofish just loses out. Now, Elian, super vulnerable here. Vetso's going to try and cover him off from John, but Krepsix has the angle, and now Milov might have it as well in a second if he's not careful. He's going to peek for this. He wants it, and that is 2 tanks for free. That is completely and utterly undone Kazna's hold towards the center of this map. They're still up in HP, though, as that artillery is still in play. So Synergy needs to calm down and reset this fight, and then just work out where they need to go from now on.
I feel like those 113s should have been where Yizny is, and Yizny should have been where the 113s is. The 113's just not good in that position at all. I don't think, or at least Kazna Kru didn't play well. Now Vets is going to get caught out on the cross. He was in the middle of the map. 722 damage done, but Stefan Nexus want to push forwards. Mursky has spotted Happy Bubble, but that's been reciprocated, and Stefan's been spotted as well. So, you know, this Synergy has a good chance, a good idea where Kazna Kru are.
All right, so Stefan spotted, Nexus now spotted. They know 2 of these tanks are now making the pressure coming in from the southern side as well. Good work from Happy Bubble to get a bit of damage done. John's on the way back. Mursky does get picked up by Stefan, so there's the artillery play removed from the board. And now Kazna Kru keeping as many guns in the game as they can, but bearing in mind Synergy, you know, after such a disastrous start, are trying to claw their way back into this.
Unbelievable that they're actually ahead in HP at this time, or very close to be ahead in HP. And Hyper's just trying to keep those tanks at bay. He's doing a very good job, to be honest.
Crespix is going for... Oh, he gets it as well. Vetso goes down. Kazna, what is going on? He's going to push up as well. He knows he's got a chance here. Yizny can make one shot on this. He actually tracks it. That's going to buy time for the others to come back around and support him. Crespix is in real trouble now. That's a problem. Can he get to cover in time? Milov finds Nexus. This is unreal. 3 tanks remaining for Kazna, and they've just let this one slip.
Unbelievable. You got 4 tanks actually Amaraked on the map. You got 3 from Synergy, and you got 1 from Kazna Kru, but they are ahead in a 5 versus 3. So Crespix, Milov, Luti Pavlo, and Happy Bubble all one-shots, and Stefan just needs to start doing the damage.
Oh, but Hyper's found the only 2v1 on the map, and there we go. Last man standing is Stefan. This is absolutely devastating for Kazna Kru. They actually lose the game in the end. Kazna crumble under the weight of Synergy, and I can't believe that just happened.
No, I think, you know, if Kazna Kru were really in doubt that they are not playing up to their usual standard right now, I think that's probably cemented it, because that was terrible. I mean, I do see, like, Yizny was in a very important position in that IS-4, and he got Amaraked early on. And if he didn't get Amaraked, he would have been able to reply more damage. But, you know, like, Synergy will also Amaraked at some point in time as well. Those 113s were definitely the losing point for Kazna Kru. They were just terrible behind those rocks, getting consistently damaged. You had Crespix peaking, you had the T110E5 there as well, just doing great damage. And then you had the push from Kazna Kru, which didn't actually do anything apart from take down the artillery. Happy Bubble still alive. And yeah, I think once Kazna Kru had lost control of that hill, you know, that's just impossible. And you had Vetso in the background, the FE215B, like messy, uncontrolled, uncoordinated play from Kazna. And yeah, I mean, definitely Synergy far ahead in this game.
I just can't believe that's happened. Kazna, what's going on, boys?
Yeah, I mean, oops, this one.
See, Oops is fine to a degree, right? Oops, we're playing...
But also, I mean, like, Kazna were making the same mistakes against Oops as they were doing against Synergy.
See, and that's the thing that I didn't expect to be reciprocated in this matchup more than anything, is the fact that actually they're still having those same issues. They were still having these same problems against arguably a lesser team, who definitely won't punish as much as Oops would. So a little bit of disappointment all in all. But Melly, let's talk about the guys at home, because this is going to be something for them to write home about. Did anyone predict it going that way?
Let me check. No. No. Oh wait, that was the other way around. Sorry. Currently the vote sits. Well, this vote ended on 90%, and someone predicting a 5-2 for Synergy didn't happen. It didn't happen. It just,
No one
I
predicted
can
it.
recheck. Two.
Two people.
2 people.
After refreshing it.
Jeez.
But
I mean,
fairly
Kazna
early.
won 5-0 against Synergy last season.
That's ridiculous. It's changed from that to that. You know what I mean? Like it's.
I would really like to know what went wrong, actually.
Yeah, it'd be great to speak to those guys.
Like
Hopefully
2-0
we can.
Prokhorovka. Was it 2-0?
No, it's 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah.
Like Rurenberg 2-0. I think that's probably where it
That
went
was,
downhill.
that's where you just break the back.
Like
I
they
guess,
had that same problem against Penta where they lost that first round on, they lost that first round on Rurenberg, and then like it just started to skydive from that point onwards.
Isn't that right, Melly?
Yes, it is.
Thank you for your input, Melly.
You're very welcome.
You having fun there, yeah?
Yes, absolutely. I'm having a great time.
That's-
and I
that's
really
what I
can't wait for the next 3 days.
Exactly. Now, you guys have the sweet, sweet joy of dealing with these two at least. Not just Melly. These two. There we go.
I may not be here tomorrow. I could be fired easily after today's performance.
I don't know. I think some of your puns were, you know,
Pretty low.
they were low, but
we
you
had
know.
worse. Come on, we had worse.
Jason
Yeah.
Kaplan still casts for us, so yeah, there's a level you're not
I'm
sung
alright.
to yet.
I'm
with the
safe.
I'm still here. So.
Exactly. I'm not fired, so don't worry. But still, guys, there is a hell of a lot of action coming up this week. We had some great games today. A little bit of a surprise on the first one, Ollie. Let's just look back at it. Oops against Utopia. The team, you know, Oops, the one that took down the Giants Kazna, got themselves up tied for first place, and then lost to Utopia.
Yeah, so I mean, unbelievable game. Oops, they were back and forwards. I mean, such a close game, and Utopia managed to just sneak out on steps in that tiebreaker. After the first 2 rounds of Rusty Rosso and Prokhorovka, I mean, come on. We thought that we would be able to do better, but then Wombats on Tanks managed to put 5 on the board. And then we had that 5-2 scoreline in favor of, was it 5-2? Yeah, 5-2 to Synergy. Just, I think a good performance by Synergy, solid, didn't make too many mistakes. They played it like they did against Wombats when they also won 5-2. But I think Kazna, you could see the individual performance wasn't there.
Yep.
And I mean, the tactics were pretty standard.
Yeah, they had a very poor performance, and hopefully for them, they can go back, reconsider what they've been doing tactically, because they really suffered in that game, and I really do hope for Kazna's sake they can recover from that. They were down in 4th today. I don't know how that's going to affect the rankings later on, but that aside, they're going to have to keep eyes on, because everything's getting very, very close towards that kind of, I guess, 1st to arguably 7th, 8th place. You can jump up with 2 games in a row, but guys, as said, this is going to be a hell of a lot of action back to back. We're going to have basically 4 days in a row until Thursday of Wild Tanks coming to you every single night on this channel. So I won't be here. I'll be further away in the wide world of things, but you will have Mitch Uber Leslie sitting in for me. So he'll be looking after you guys at home. Of course, you'll be joined by Laughter and Melly as well, and some incredible games to boot. So guys, do make sure you follow this channel on Twitch TV while I lose my voice elsewhere. And do make sure you follow on all the social media links, Facebook, Twitter, check out YouTube, all that good stuff. Guys, if today wasn't enough, you got 3 more days coming up, almost 4 of it. So do not go too far away. And make sure you hit that follow button, because we'll be back live tomorrow.